Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with a brand new brew review for you guys. Today we are having a beer from a small brewery in Amsterdam. This brewery was founded in 2013 as a fun hobby project by Tessel and Do de Heij, two sisters that love having a beer and started experimenting with brewing just as well. They started their brewery under the name Gebrouwen door Vrouwen, or Brewed by Women, and expanded the operation to a team of 10 women today. Now, before I go into the beer, I would like to clarify that I have been brought up as a feminist, or rather an equalist, and I have no problem with women brewing. On the contrary, we should applaud everyone getting into the beer world and this hobby with good intentions, regardless of gender identity, origin, skin color, heritage, size, whatever the fuck. And for those that are thinking of leaving any misogynistic comments, shame on you. It's a tragedy that we need to add disclaimers like this to fun projects like these videos because of people like you. And lastly, read a book every now and then and learn your fucking history. Because brewing has been a traditional women's task for thousands upon thousands of years, until, just like many other things, we took that away from them. And I can give you a lecture on women in the brewing world. Okay, now that all being said, back to the essence of this video, and that is the beer. Today we are having Bloesem Blond, or Blossom Blonde. The company is called Brewed by Women, and they are not afraid to spice up their names, labels, overall marketing with some frivolous female touch. Now, if you have a minute to spare, please check out their website. I put a link down below in the comments or in the description. It is an awesome website, well made as well. First off, let's have a look at this bottle here. They have a very cool, simple logo and a calming light color palette with pink and white. For the name, they chose a classic handwritten script font, and everything is surrounded by blossoms. And on the back we find pretty much the same idea, but with a bit more text and some clarifications. The Bloesem Blond is this brewery's best known beer, and it's an interesting one too. The base beer is a 6.2% ABV, brewed with only Pilsner malt and some wheat, and hopped with Cascade and Styrian Goldings. But why call your beer Blossom Blonde then? Just for the feminine idea of pink flowers and the triple alliteration? No. During the brewing process, they also add elderflowers and natural elderflower aroma as well. So when thinking about all this, I expect a bit of bittersweet, floral, light. However, there's only one way to find that all out, and that is putting it to the test and tasting it. So, curious as I always am, let's go about that. If, of course, I find my opener here. There we go. Loads of bubbles, which is nice. Now this is a top fermented beer, and I believe it is re-fermented in the bottle as well. Well, it looks rather dark for a blonde, but I do like that. I also get a lot of very floral aromas already, so yeah, this is I'd say a dark blonde, copper gold, but yeah, a bit brownish even, but dark gold nonetheless. Nice beige foam, as it should be with this color beer, so no tampering there. Nice thick foam as well. You see two layers, some very tiny bubbles that are bubbling up, and some small medium-sized bubbles layering on top there. So this foam is gonna stay for a while, which we like because it protects our beer from oxidation. Ooh. I do get a hint of elderflower, of course, but that is a relatively dominant aroma, a relatively dominant smell, also in candies and syrups, for example. But in this beer too. And apart from that, I get a bit of maltiness and a lot of hoppiness. So yeah, as expected, a bit bittersweet. Now, I have never tasted this before, so I'm very, very curious. This is nice. Now, they don't hide the fact that they find many beers a bit too bitter, and they brew with bitter flavors but not strong bitterness. And I beg to differ. I think this beer is actually relatively bitter even. Now, of course, they do use a bit of hop, which is per definition slightly bitter, but they use Styrian, Golding and Cascade, which are pretty bitter in themselves. And they also use elderflower, that is a bit bitter as well. Many people associate elderflower with candy and with sweetness, but it's the fuck ton of sugar that we add to those sweets that makes it sweet. So yeah, elderflower in itself is actually a bit bittersweet, or even a bit bitter in the end. So this beer actually comes in rather malty with a bit of floral essence, a bit of that elderflower candy flavor, a bit sweet, but it quickly, I want to say deteriorates, but that is a very, very wrong word. It very quickly fades to that dryness and that bitterness that I really love. So in that way of looking at this beer, mission succeeded for me as well, at least. Also, not too thin at all. I think the wheat did its work here. We have a slight acidity in the back of the throat, or the back of the tongue as well. So the glands are being tingly all of a sudden because of that wheat and that bitterness, which is a nice combination. And I think I only have one remark for this beer, and that is, even though we see a lot of bubbles, tiny bubbles, it is relatively flat. I'm not gonna say thin or watery, because it's not, but it is slightly flat, which is a surprise to me because of all these bubbles we see and all this foam, this nice thick head. So maybe I should rephrase, and I should say it comes across as slightly flat. But nonetheless, it is a very tasty beer. It is a very thirst quenching beer. Actually, I should have done this in summer, but nonetheless, I still have a few weeks before we go to the Advent period. We'll see what we do with that again. But yeah, a very nice beer. Lovely color, nice scent. Tastes great. Also love the story. I'm a sucker for hobby brewers that overnight become big, because they also already sell their beer in over 1,500 stores throughout Holland and Belgium. So I think that is one hell of a way of saying we can brew. Now, how should I score this? Taking into account that it has a very light, slightly bittersweet, floral, candyish after flavor as well, I'd keep it at a decent 3.5. Yeah. And I know that 3.5 is pretty much my my standard go-to for a decent, well-brewed beer, because people sometimes ask me how I use this scale. For me, it's very simple. 2.5 is, it's a beer. Anything below 2.5 is not good at all. 2.75 is okay. And starting from 3, which is 60%, I go to, it's decent, it's okay. 3.25 and 3.50 are very standard. Actually, 3.25 is very standard. 3.50 is starting to get pretty good. And 3.75 is just not really a 4. And 4 is really, really good. Anything over 4 is awesome. I think I have some 4.5s, 4.75s in my Untapped. I think this is one of them. So a 3.5 is really a very, very decent, a very decent scoring. Anywho, I saw that we had some more subscribers again, so again, welcome to you guys. Thank you so much for watching and staying on. If you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up or let me know down in the comments. If you want to see more, subscribe, hit the bell icon, you'll get notified whenever I upload something. And yeah, if you have any questions, suggestions, leave them down below. I'll answer you as quickly as possible. And I am thinking of changing up things after New Year's Eve, but I will prepare a video for you guys about that. I also have some brew news, so I'll bundle that probably. See you tomorrow. Cheers.